Hello everybody, how are we doing? I can see we've got a bit of chit chat going on already. We've got Patty and Evie, still cold in Canada, there's a surprise. And April's here too, yay! Hi April, fellow Canadian. And we've got Europa as well, hello, how are you? A little pink on her hand, oh hi. And we've got Ms. Soros as well, excellent. It's really nice. Oh, hi Roseanne, yeah! Oh, we've got Ulrika as well. This is so nice. I really didn't think this stream would be particularly populated today, just on account of me moving things about. I'm really sorry about that. I really wanted to have a weekend stream so that more people could join in. I am not well. I'm not as well as I hoped I would be by this point. I'm significantly better than I was at the weekend. I mean, I was dying at the weekend, but I am I'm not as well as I hoped I would be. I have literally like troweled on makeup today, and this is about as well as I could look, and I can even see that I still look really pale. But I'm trying my hardest today, guys. I don't know if I'm going to manage the 2 hours. I'll just have to wait and see what happens. I'm still very Nah. But at the weekend, my sinuses were so sore and I was so congested that my eyes were like this and they were just streaming the whole time. Like I actually couldn't open my eyes at all. So we're significantly better. So I'm just going to see how it goes. I want to talk about some quite technical drawing stuff today as well, and I don't even know if I've got the brain power for it. But we'll see how it's going to go. For medicinal purposes, I've just gone straight to Jack Daniels today, guys. Like, I'm absolutely loaded up with drugs. I've been on the old Uniflu. I've talked about this before. It's pretty strong flu medication that you can get in the south of Ireland. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I'm going to do my best to keep it jolly today. I'm not too bad for sniffy and coughiness. Not coffee as in coffee. I'm not too bad for that now. But if I do have to have a bit of a sniff or a snort, I will not subject you to it as best I can. So everyone's talking about the weather. The weather, Ulrika's further south than me by a margin. It is bizarrely warm here today. It's like 11 degrees or something in February, and I'm just like, what is going on? I took the dogs out this morning for a walk, and I was in like my farmer shirt that I had on. That was only a couple of streams ago, and everyone's like, well, that's really farmery. I had that on and I was drenched in sweat. By the time I came back, I was like, totally did not need to wear that. It was so weird today, like weirdly mild. It's not nice at all. It's still really grey here as well because it's Scotland, obviously. So it's not like nice mild. It's like icky mild. Yeah, I don't like it. Don't like it at all. It's not good. Oh, we've got purple as well. Yay! I know you've got to at 4 o'clock, so thank you for joining us, and it's lovely to see you because we don't see you very often. That's one of the good things about doing a stream on an odd day, because you do get the odd person coming in that doesn't normally make it. Just take it easy, don't push yourself. Yeah, I'm definitely not firing on all cylinders, and I have already worked today. I start my proper job at 7:30 in the morning, so I have literally finished there. Made myself a bit more presentable, and here I am, I'm back. So I'll do my best though, but we don't do anything by halves here. And I think being lubricated with Jack Daniels might help a wee bit. Hi Nye, how are you? Okay, so I'm going to switch the schedule round from what's in the video description. I want to start with the graphite drawing of the Armani ring that we started. I've not done any artwork at all apart from finishing that little page in Small Victories, which I haven't posted on the post page or Instagram yet. I haven't done much else, but I tell you what I have been doing. I have been eyeballing this drawing since the last time because I keep looking at it and it's like, it's not right. And I know I spent quite a lot of time in the last stream when we did it sort of trying to correct the proportions. It's still not right, so I want to try and fix that today, but I want to talk to you about the ways to do that, or ways that I would use to do it. Obviously there's a million ways you can do these things, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the different methods and like techniques you can use to try and correct something like that, because as we know, if you don't get those proportions right in that initial sketch, you can have beautiful rendering and lots of layers of pencil or paint or whatever it is, but if that initial structure isn't correct, there's always going to be something slightly off, and it's something that I've struggled with a lot over the years. So I thought we would do like the heavy technical arty stuff first, and then in the second half, if I'm flagging a little bit, it won't be so bad. I do need your input for the second half of the stream though, so I'll talk a little bit more about that after we've had our intermission halfway through. But yes, very much audience participation, chat participation for the second half of the stream. So yes, if you could stick a like on it, that would be great. That'd be lovely. The other thing that's happening as well is this is going to sound ridiculous. I've actually got 4 videos in the pipeline, and some of them aren't filmed at all. Some of them have little bits filmed, and one of them has a lot of it filmed and none of it's edited. I had this master plan that I was going to like do all the editing at the weekend, and I did none of it because I was basically flat out on the couch feeling sorry for myself. So yeah, there's that. So I'm going to be working on that in the next few days and try and start getting those videos out a bit closer to the weekend. And I'll also do the March streaming schedule as well, so that you know what's going on next month in terms of streams. I will try and have a weekend streams, especially since we've just missed one. So that I'm a be busy person, and tomorrow I have a million appointments. I have an eye appointment, I have an elbow appointment, and I've got a million other things in between. Yeah, busy, very very busy, very very busy. Purple says probably not arting. Got a team meeting at 4. Going to reorganise the art supplies. Yes, yes, yes. All good, all good. Right, okie dokie then. So let's just let me sort myself out a wee bit. The other thing as well is I now have a second monitor for my work laptop, and it's situated, it's just out of shot here. I'm going to have to change the desk setup. I was talking about it anyway, but it's ridiculous now, and there's cables everywhere. So at some point I'm going to try and squeeze that in and kind of sort things out. So the orientation here might change a little bit over the next maybe 2 or 3 weeks. You don't really need to know that, but you'll be like, something looks different. That's what it's going to be. Anywho's. Right, okay, so back in my wee sketchbook here. Nah, it was nice to see an unboxing video despite it being markers. Yeah, you can imagine how pleased I was about that. I was just like, there was a little bit of me that died inside when I saw that. I was like, oh, come on. Oh, the other thing as well, that before I get started, I'm doing a lot of chatting, and it's been doing it for 5 minutes now. I'm still going to have my pencil event again. That I was kind of trying to organise that over the weekend, but because I was ill I didn't do it. So next weekend in the stash shop there will be a lot of pencil-y things up for grabs, which includes the set of Pablos that I talked about a little bit in the last stream. I have contacted Danny, who was the person that was initially interested in them. She is in the States though, and with the import taxes and tariffs and everything, it's not going to be worth her while. But I wanted to ask her first because she was interested in them originally. So if anybody is looking for a set of Caran d'Ache Pablos, again, just the way I did with the Albrecht Dürers and the Arteza pencils, which have both found new homes now, if anyone is interested in a set of Pablos and would like to talk to me about it, you can get in touch with me. Just drop me an email, drop me a DM on social media of your choice. I would really like them to go to a good home, because they're, number one, they're expensive pencils, and number two, I spent a lot of time building that set up and buying open stock pencils. I didn't just buy them as a set, so I would really like them to go to someone that really wants them and would give them a good home and use them. So if there's no takers though, I will put them in the stash shop along with all the other pencil items that will be going in, and that will probably go live next Sunday. Okay, yes, we're missing a Jan. Jan is at work. She said she might catch us on the drive home, but obviously she will just be listening. So we can hurl abuse at her. I will do it audibly. So if you have any comments for Jan, I will verbalise them so that we can give her a bit of stick on the way home. She, I think she normally drives home sometime between 4 and 5 though, so we've got a bit yet. Right, okay, so into the sketchbook we go. So, yeah, I was kind of looking at this and thinking the proportions are still not quite right. I do have the photo that I took here on my phone. That was the other thing as well. I'm sorry, Thea. I said I would post this as a reference image in the Discord, and I completely forgot about it. I will do it today after the stream. So I've got the reference image here, and this isn't long enough. I feel like for this height, this needs to be out a bit, so I kind of like just jotted a few marks down on the paper to see where I'm going. But I wanted to talk a little bit about different ways that you can correct stuff like this, and the different ways that people actually get this initial sketch layer down. So the first one that I want to talk about, which is the one that I would be least likely to use, and that is to trace your reference image. A lot of people use it, especially if they're scaling up. You know, if you were doing something on a wall, you know, like a mural, or even just making a bigger version, quite often people do that, and they will trace over the reference image and then size it up digitally and then draw on top of it on whatever, or project it onto a wall, that kind of thing. It's not a method that I like to use because I don't think it helps me learn proportions, and I don't want to spend a lifetime of tracing outlines of things. There's a huge debate about whether tracing is cheating or not, and it's a very grey area, and I think I probably sit somewhere in the middle with that. To trace the entire outline of an image, particularly if it's not your own reference image, I do not agree with, for various reasons. Obviously, one of them being is copyright issues. Not that anything legally would likely come of it, but it doesn't sit well with me. It's a really difficult subject to tackle, and this is open for discussion in the chat as well, obviously. It's just not something that I'm happy doing because I don't feel as if I learn anything from it. If I'm just going to trace things, then I don't feel I'm going to get my eye in for proportions and develop that skill. That's how I feel about it. If you did want to do that though, especially on this kind of scale, the things that you could use, I have a light pad, and I'm sure you've seen me use it before. It's basically just a flat tablet that's a really bright light. We used to use light boxes in geography to trace maps and stuff. I'm sure if any of you are the same age as me or older that you'll remember doing that in school. Well, I really am showing my age there. So you could do that and put it directly underneath, and then you could trace the outline. If you're a beginner artist and you're just learning about stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Or if you're doing something that's quite big and complex, then that would be an option for you as well. To use that to a lesser degree, if you wanted to make sure but you didn't want to trace an entire outline, giving yourself some signposting or some specific marks is a really good way to do it. So rather than tracing an entire outline, you know, that if you've got something in behind or if you've got it up on a wall, just giving yourself markers. So a bit like I've done here, you can see I've put these two wee marks with question marks on the paper here. You can give yourself like anchor points. So for this, you would have one at each corner, even though this is round, and maybe one for the low point and the high point, and work from there and draw in the rest of the lines yourself. That's a really nice halfway point from tracing to doing it yourself. And then obviously you've got the eyeball method, which is what I like to do because I kind of like to fly by the seat of my pants and then like figure it out later. That's just what it is. The method that I prefer, and this is what I wanted to show you specifically today, it's kind of like a step away from that because I've had a couple of goes at correcting this and it's still not right, and I know it's not right, and I don't want to move to the next stage until it is right. So what I did was I traced the outline of the ring on a light pad, and I did it in permanent marker. Just on this is just a scrap of paper out the printer, just very, very roughly. And then what I want to do is try and eyeball that from this outline. So basically just by simplifying it, I find that much easier because there's no noise, you know, there's no light source or, you know, shading, that kind of thing. I find that a much, much easier way. So I can tell from looking at that straight away that this isn't long enough, and that's what's led me to put these marks in here, and I noticed that just walking past it. So I want to try and extend that out and see what it looks like. I find this is a really effective way of correcting proportions if I'm struggling, and I find that this is the way that works best for me. If you want to get a bit more scientific, which I am very prone to as well, as I'm sure most of you know, I've got a bit of a science brain, measuring things as well. So let's just do this as an exercise. So I've got this this here and my technical ruler. So roughly from end to end at the widest point, it's about 14 centimetres, and I'm at 13 and a bit on that original sketch. And then at the deepest point, which is on this left hand side, that is just over 7.5. And I'm at 8, so you can see my proportions, they're not miles out, but they're not perfect. And there's definitely like a point in the middle where it would look okay, like you don't have to have pinpoint accuracy, But for purely eyeballing that, I don't think that's too bad. I'm only like a centimetre or two out. So bearing that in mind and given the ratio, if I pull this end out that way, then that proportion will be in proportion, if you know what I'm saying. Because this is too big and this is too short. So if I elongate this, then that proportion will become correct. I don't know whether that's maybe too far though. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to kind of like chat you through that a little bit, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. And especially with that, I mean, there's no right way or wrong way to do things, but you will find that you have preferences. I certainly have preferences, and the tracing and image thing just doesn't sit well with me, because I like to learn stuff and become proficient at things. Another really weird time that's happened, and again, most of you that are here have been here for quite a while, you know about it. I never ever ever use a ruler to draw a straight line. I always freehand them, and I've done that right from the beginning, and I can draw a pretty straight line. Given that I've got a wonky hand, I'm pretty good at drawing a straight line without the aid of a ruler. The only time I would use a ruler if it was like a perspective drawing, I think, or I'd maybe like use it just to correct things a little bit. But generally speaking, I don't use rulers to draw lines. But that's just a me thing. Like that's not a rule or anything. Are you all right down there, Jock? Jock's very itchy today, see, because it's mild. He's had his medication and it's not making a blind bit of difference today, so we've got a very itchy boy. Very, very itchy boy. Okay. Ulrika's got a light box, which she uses occasionally. I didn't even realise that was you. Hi Snoo, how are you doing? Okay, so nice pointing out about the grid method, and I will highly recommend the grid method. You get really good apps for that as well. I've got one on my iPad, and I'm just going to tell you what it is because I can't remember the name of it. But that is excellent. I like to use the grid method for animal portraits. Like, see, when I'm doing pet portraits for people, love the grid method. So basically, oh, it's called grid. Right, okay, good Jim. So basically, there's the icon for it. That's what it looks like, this one here. Basically, you can upload a photo into it. Excuse me, I need a sniff. Basically, you can upload a photo into it, and you can change the grid proportions based on how big or small you want each square to be to work in. Again, that's something I've found as you go on as an artist, you can make the grid squares bigger and bigger when you get more proficient at drawing, basically. So a drawing that I might have done in a 12 by 12 grid before, I would now do in like a 3 by 3. Really good way to get proportions right. Particularly important if you're drawing someone's pets, because you need it to be as close to the reference material as possible. So yes, I would absolutely highly recommend the grid method. I wouldn't use it for something like this though, because we're just casual in a sketchbook. But that's a really good way as well, and I'm really glad that you brought that up as well. So thank you, Nye. Great method to use. Takes a bit of setting up though, because obviously you've got to sort your grid out. Much easier when you've got it on something like that to get you going. Because again, the light from the iPad, you can like dump that on top if you want to. I prefer to print out the image, so whatever I've put into grid, I like to print it out with the grid lines on it and then draw the grid lines on my paper and do it that way. Again, bit more old school, bit less efficient, but again, drawing for me isn't about efficiency, it's about having fun doing it right and enjoying the process. So yeah. See, nice saying app, good to know. Yeah, so you can basically use your iPad as a light pad if you want to trace it through, even if you just want to trace the grid lines through, or you could trace the outline as well, but I like to have it on paper. Like I'm very much a scribbly person, but again, it's back to this, I try and keep away from digital media as much as I can when I'm arting, just because I spend all day in front of screens. But there's not to say it doesn't have its uses, because it does. But yes. Well, we've got a Susan. Hello Susan, how are you? Is it unnaturally warm with you as well, Susan? Susan is also a fellow Scot. It's weirdly warm here. Right, so with all that whittering out the way now, I hope that information is helpful, or it's at least given you a little bit of thought. I've got lots of smudgy lines here. That's something I found out about this paper. So I talked about this last time. This is the Moleskine watercolour sketchbook, and it is cold pressed paper. It is quite knobbly bobbly, like it's quite textured, and my graphite hasn't survived well, and that wasn't a particularly soft grade of graphite we were using. So I think once I'm finished this, I'm going to have to like clean up the other page and then spray it with some sort of fixative to stop it like rubbing off. So yeah, right. Now, the wonderful thing about today is I have a beautifully organised desk tidy with all my graphite pencils to hand, and I can find everything. Thanks, guys. So we're going to carry on with that. So I'm going to grab my F pencil, which I could just put my hand on because it was right there. And I want to try and fix the proportions here. I don't know what's happened to my kneaded eraser, but it really is time to get a new one out. It's so grubby now, and I keep saying it and I still haven't done it. So I want to take this down to roughly where I'd put these little question mark lines in. So that's going to be interesting, and then I've got this curve back as well. So as I say, I do have the reference image off to the side here just on my phone, and basically my eyeballs were going to jump from there to the reference image to the paper, and I'm going to try and correct it that way. So again, this is just part of the conversation, you know, like we talked last time about keeping things real and showing the actual steps. Now, I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that I'm a particularly accomplished artist. I also don't think I'm a particularly talented artist. I enjoy it very much. But regardless of where you are in your art journey, if you look online for resources and inspiration, everything is so curated and cut down and edited now, and there's very little of that background work that goes in. You tend to see like the, you know, if someone's composing some sort of piece, it's the sort of key points, and you don't see all the nitty gritty that goes on in behind it. And even the most experienced artists will go through a phase of correction when they're working on something. And I say it all the time, I feel like it's really important to show you warts and all. And this is a perfect example. Like I must have looked at this drawing since the last time we were in here. I must have looked at this 50 or 60 times and gone, that's not right. And then thought about what was wrong with it and how I could fix it. So yeah, I feel that this step is super, super important, because I just don't feel like this is talked about enough. And it's very easy to get a complex about your own work. You know, because if you're constantly fed all this sort of super efficient, like stunning, high quality, like top caliber artwork, it can become quite demotivating at a point as well. But what you've got to understand is, like, 19 times out of 100, it wasn't an effortless like A to B point. You know, like, it's not linear. It's like, that's crap. Starting, like, there's a lot of that, and I think that most artists would agree with that and would sit down and tell you that. And it doesn't matter whether they're turning out like 15 oil paintings a month and they're selling every one of them, or whether it's someone that doodles for an hour once a week, you know, on their lunch break. It's real, and it's the same for everyone. It's just we don't see much of it. So I feel very strongly, but you would never have guessed that I feel strongly about this, but I really, really do. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is just take out this section here, because obviously that's wrong as well. I'm just kind of, I'm going to wipe out this shading as well, because again, that was in the proportions of where the ring was shorter, so that is now wrong as well. But this is why we just do things lightly. And if you remember, I was just kind of like trying to give myself reference points there for where the darkest and the lightest parts were. So we're going to have to redo that as well. But I really just want to concentrate on this shape and get it exactly where it needs to be. I'm feeling better about this already. Like, it looks better already. So I'm much, much happier with that. So I just need to get this outside line sorted a little bit here, because we know that that's going to come up. and disappear off there. So that's pretty good. Hi Tammy, how are you? Patty was making the princess her breakfast. 10 degrees for you, says, alright, so you're only, yeah, like, you're only like a degree behind us. Same, really overcast. That's what I was saying, like, it's not nice mild, it's like icky mild, like it's slightly unsettling. The joys of Scotland. Yeah, so I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with that already, which is nice. And then I can bring this inside line down. Sorry, I'm trying not to sniff. Like, I'm trying real hard not to sniff. Weirdly though, this, where the logo is, I think it's still in the right place, do you know that? If I just sort of show you that there, like that doesn't look too far off where it should be, so I think my placement was probably okay for that, so at least we don't have to fix that, that's good. It's very good indeed. So one of the things that I notice about this is that this inside edge, so that's where the curve from the top of the ring comes down, and then there's this like solid line, and that's the stamped edge. Obviously they have to have a flat surface to emboss the stamp on, but despite the shape of the ring and the angle we're looking at it, that is equidistant all the way along. Now I've naturally wanted to pull that down because I know this is coming into a curve. I've automatically wanted to like bring this line here like down this way, and that's a classic case of drawing what I think I can see rather than what I can actually see. And again, I'm sure you've heard that a million times. Draw what you see, not what you think you see. So I need to correct that. So that really needs to come across like there. I've got this little Derwent skinny eraser. This was the one that I couldn't find initially. I found it. This is my most recent one. I'm going to stick a couple of these in the stash shop as well. There was the ones that I dug out of the tidy. This one here, like still in the wrapper, unused. But these are great just because they're so small, and they've got good erasability as well, generally speaking. I really like these, so I'll get that in because that's quite a tight space in there. So that's just that's just a reference point for me. Whatever I move about and change, this facet here needs to be like equal all the way along. So I'm not convinced. I think that's my outside edge there. So again, tidy that up a little bit. If I just, that looks much better, much better. Like I'm much happier with that, and I'm really glad I took the 10 seconds to do a wonky outline to sort myself out. Patty's found so many erasers and blending stumps, it's ridiculous. I found a lot of blending stumps too, to be fair. It's something I do use, like I do, but I don't seem to have like a favourite one like I do with erasers and pencils. Like blending stumps are just like, yeah, whatever's hanging about. Paper clips also. Right, okay, so I think I'm happy. I think I'm finally at a point where it's like, yep, that's the shape it's going to be, or as close to the shape as it should be. Short of, again, going back to tracing or like scientifically measuring. We're not doing any of that, we're in our sketchbooks. So just to kind of go over, and I know we're kind of going back over the same thing here, but I just want to go back and put in those darkest areas so that I can start working properly and like start rendering something. And this is the thing with graphite, and it's the reason a lot of people don't like graphite, but it's the reason that I do like graphite. The same way as it is for those of you that use coloured pencil or like to colour in coloured pencil. It's a very slow and methodical process. It's not a quick fix, you know, it's not that sort of instant gratification. If you want that, slap out some acrylic paint or some markers. But there's the satisfaction in it and moving through it step by step. I really enjoy it, and I think that's probably to do with the scientific side of me, because I like process, I like steps. So that's probably why it appeals to me. That, you know, that would make sense. Okay, so now we've got because this is mostly reflections. I do want to get some of the pits and scratches in. Again, if I just show you you can see quite clearly, this ring was smooth at one point, but I've had this ring for over 20 years. There's a particularly big pit in it there and there, so I want to try and remember that and really add the character in. This might even just be a texture exercise, but I am going to be fighting with the texture of the paper, so it might come out quite interesting. But that's okay too. So the main thing is though, we've got this dark area here, and this line that I put in before, it's still present, like you can just see it and no more. It's not as obvious on the camera lens, but there is a distinct line where that starts to curve over, and again that's just the top of the ring. It's rounded, it's not a flat edge. So I just want to pop that in very roughly. But the main thing is we've got this darkest area here. So again, it starts just under the edge of where that stamp is, so that's a really good reference point, and that comes in to about there. And this is something, when I'm working in graphite, I always put in the darkest area first. I find it easier to work dark to light than the other way around. It kind of like goes eyeball to brain, like the process is easier. Some people like to do it the other way around. It also depends what medium you're working in as well. But yeah, plonk in those dark areas. So that's the darkest part, apart from the actual stamp itself. And then we've got this dark area here, which is obviously the shadow, and then the cast shadow as well, which is weird because of the shape of the ring. But that's also going to help us show the shape of the ring. So although, excuse me, although the ring lifts up off the desk, the cast shadow's still there. So yeah, we're going to put that there. And then we've got the same thing that comes out kind of around here. So it's almost like its own little halo in itself. And there's this tiny bit in the middle where it's just not quite connected. Although it's there, it's not entirely there. So that's a really good way to help us show the shape of the ring and the fact that it's a bit wonky. So got this part, and I'm going to go, that was a 2B that I was using there. I'm going to go back to my F pencil and just mark in. I mean, this doesn't have to be accurate because the shadow itself's a bit willy-nilly anyway. But we've got a light source from this side, which is this light here. You can see there is a light there, and that's, again, this is just the angle that I took the picture at when we were starting out with this. So we've got this lighter area there, and it just sort of falls off as the ring curves round. You can see the lights hitting it there. So there's actually quite a defined point there where the shadow stops. And then when we come down round here, we've got a little bit of dark here. And this part here, this light part, that is me taking a picture of the ring. That's actually my hand. So it is, although it's pitted and marked and quite worn, it's still a very reflective surface, and that's something that we want to try and show. So we've got this part here as well, and we've got a really light part here, and then this edge a little bit darker, and then this is kind of like, this is like in the middle, so we'll not worry about too much about that just now. Easier to work with extremes. So we've got a little bit here and there as well. And then as it starts to curve round away to the back, you can just see it in the picture there, that there's a wee shadow starts there too. So we want to remember that that's there and pop that in. And then this top edge. Dark bit's kind of in the same place. It's not too far off the mark. And we don't really need to touch this top corner here. I'm going to leave this centre, see this middle area here, I'm going to leave that till the end. Like, I'm going to almost work on this as like two separate pieces, just because it's quite complicated in terms of shape, and the fact that we've got this bevel in it. I feel like we can not worry about that and just concentrate on that another time, and really just work on the outside first and treat the inside separately. Bulldog clips. 500 watts. Oh, 500 erasers. Oh my goodness, Susan. Ulrika found a couple bag of pipettes and bulldog clips. I've always got I've always got pipettes. We don't talk about that though. That's funny. I don't know what I would do with 500 erasers. Oh, jeez. The One Ring doesn't rule all, does it bind us? It's Scotland Mordor. It feels like it sometimes. Oh, that's funny. That makes me laugh. I love all Lord of the Rings references because it was my mum's favourite book ever. And she must have read it about 9 million times, and she had about 6 different copies of it. We did have the copy that she had when she was a young girl. And eventually, I mean, she read it so much that the spine fell to pieces, like the entire book fell to pieces. And I'm really sad that I don't have it, but it wasn't, like it was a paperback, it wasn't savable. But I do have the subsequent editions that she bought have been now given to me. Papa Jem is not a reader. So I have about 4 or 5 copies of the Lord of the Rings in various formats. So I love Lord of the Rings references because Mama Jem was a big Tolkien fan. You're listening to the audiobook read by Andy Serkis. Oh, please tell me he does the voice. Does he do the voice? Hi, Jan. Get the app for your watch that allows you to follow the Lord of the Rings route. That sounds fun. I need to change the lock time on my. This is my new handset. Oh, that's a good point. Is Miri here today? No. She was having phone problems. And she was having similar phone problems to me, and I gave up. I just changed my phone. It was too much for me. Right. Okay. Excuse me one moment. Just recomposing myself a wee bit there. Okay, so I'm quite happy with things, and I've got all my markers and everything in that. Not markers as in markers, markers as in markers. Waypoints. So what I want to decide is what grade of graphite I'm going to use for my darkest pencil. I'm not going to go super like 16B because of the paper. Like everything's very mobile on here. So I think maybe I was looking for this eraser, and I swear I looked in this pencil case about 14 times over. This is sort of off on a tangent. This is one of the Tombow Mono Zero erasers. I normally use the square one because it's basically a tiny version of one of these, and it's the blue stripy one. Yeah, this one. Love this eraser as well. So good. But I knew I had like a round one, and I just couldn't find it, and there it is. So it's been in there the whole time, and yeah, whatever. Good, Jem, well done. I think we'll just keep this out though, this might come in handy. Totally lost my train of thought. Yes, so I'm not going to go super dark. I think maybe the 8B would be more than dark enough, maybe 6 even. So let's have a dig about in the. Oh, there's the it's a pencil. Loving it's a pencil. Oh yeah, let's use the Lumograph Black 8B. That's a good shout because I'd quite like to see how that goes down on this paper as well. Okay, so in this dark section you can see there is a highlight. So that's what we're going to use this for. And that is positioned. We were talking about the shadow starting just under the edge of the embossed stamp, and funnily enough, that's in the same place. So I'm going to use that as my anchor point, as my starting point. And with the sort of pits and scratches, I'm going to use this tiny eraser to take them out. Unless there's a particularly prominent one, in which case I will like draw, well, not draw around it, draw it in as I go. It's a bit like, you know when you come across bubbles in colouring pages, sometimes you colour around them and sometimes you're like, yeah, I'll figure that out later. Same principle. So I really just want to get going here. I don't know if you can hear all the sparrows scrambling about at the feeder outside. They're getting a bit obnoxious today. They are super hungry though. There's nothing for them to eat. Everything's been underwater for weeks. They're getting quite aggressive and quite competitive, so I'm trying to keep everyone fed and keep my feeders disinfected as well, because we don't want to spread diseases. We have industrial grade disinfectants though for the cows, so we use that. FAM 30, but very diluted because we don't want to be killing anything, but very important, especially when it's been wet and mild like this, bacteria growth. So we don't want to kill off our little birdie friends. We're trying to keep them alive, not kill them. But yes, a lot of the birds, especially the different species, they're getting very competitive. Like, it's getting quite argumentative out there. And like sparrows and robins, oh, vicious. I'm looking for a 5B. That is my next pencil. And that kind of comes up around there. So you can see how much the texture of this paper's coming through. I like that, but in terms of accuracy, unless we're going to have like 65,000 layers, this could be an issue. So we'll see how it goes. I don't feel like it has to be exact. Like, it's not that deep kind of thing, but I do want to have a level of accuracy. And then I can switch to the 2B for this area here. And I'm going to pull that all the way across. So I'm just looking at this section here. There's this little light patch in the middle. And to line that up, obviously we talked about this reflection here. It's slightly to the left of the E. Like, that's my only measurement. Not very scientific. But again, I want to make it reasonably accurate. So if I draw an imaginary line down there, that's good enough for me. So I'm going to stop that about there. Just consummate professional. But this is the way I do things a lot of the time. I'm like, it's kind of there, but just a little bit to the left. But that's kind of what makes it fun. And then I can pull that down, and that kind of kind of like drops off a cliff there. And then we've got this lighter part here. The light patch looks like a ghost. No, it's just me. Just me. Samwise is a goal. Love it, Patty. Robins are one of the most vicious birds. Yeah, like they're very territorial. Like, I didn't know how territorial they were, but I do now. I'm like, oh, like, you're supposed to be these cute little birdies. I do like the fact that the chaffinches, I have a chaffinch pair. So Mr. and Mrs. Chaffinch, obviously, because what else are you going to call them? They are very harmonious with the coal tits, which are the smallest of the tits. They're tiny, and they can feed side by side, and they don't bother each other. Like, and I think the chaffinches just don't see them as a threat because they're so small. And I love the fact that they sit together. The chaffinches and the blue tits, not so much. They kind of tolerate each other, but it's not great. And then if the great tits come in, they're weirdly the most nervous ones, even though they're the biggest birds. But the chaffinches get really, really, like, arsey if the great tits come in. Like, they get quite kind of protective. It's like, no, you're not coming in here. You're too big to be in here. How dare you? So very interesting dynamics, and one of the reasons why I like my bird feeders, because it's very entertaining during the day. Because when I'm working my proper job, I face this desk here, and the window's there, so the bird feeder's at the window. That is my source of entertainment throughout my working day. You saw a robin tackle a blue jay. Well, wow. I said they're plucky little buggers, aren't they? It's an experience. Right, so up here, I just want to, I almost feel like that should be cross-hatched. Do you know that? It almost kind of looks like that a little bit. Let's bring that down. Oh. This reflection here that you can see is the computer screen. It's nice to be able to identify those things, just because obviously I took the picture sitting right here in the first instance. So we've got a little bit of a line that comes down, and that sort of starts to join up on this side, although it's quite wishy-washy. And then we've got this edge here to figure out. So that's quite defined there. And that disappears off into nothing. And then again, if we use this for reference, excuse me, congestion. We've got the darkest part there, and then there's this part here which is quite dark. So basically when I do something like this, I darken down in stages. So I do tend to work in light layers the same way as I do in coloured pencils. It's the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Because it's easier to make things darker than trying to lighten them up if you've gone too far. And then when we come over here, I need to define, there's like a line there. My nose is starting to run. Oh no, I was trying to avoid that. I've done a pretty good job here. This is almost as dark as here though, so I'm just going to jump up to the 8B and just pop a little bit of that in there. Like, yeah, that one. We want that to be dark. We want this part here to be dark. Okay. So now if I sort of like take a step back, or for you guys if I do this, that's like much better, much happier. Still looks a bit like a bedpan, not gonna lie. So yeah, that's kind of like the groundwork now. I feel as if things are fixed properly. I just felt it was really important to try and fix that as much as possible. So I'm really glad that I've got that done. Excuse me. So for me now, I work right to left because I'm left-handed. Because once you've kind of rendered something, you don't want to be smudging over it. So it's now down to getting these shades kind of like filled out and uniformly so that it's one, because this looks very disjointed, so we want this to all run in together, and then after that start working on the texture. I don't know if I'm going to use the white of the paper, apart from there's 2 points in this picture. Again, I don't know if you'll be able to see this terribly well, but there is a really light spot here, and there's also one here, and it's just like a light reflection. You can't really see it there. It is like 2 little white circles, so that's probably the only place where I'm gonna keep the white of the paper, you know, like actually preserve the white of the paper. But again, that's a really good point to start from to work, you know, to work out the way. So there's lots of options, but for me starting on this side is probably the best bet, and that is where things are going to commence. I'm just looking at this here and I've taken the wrong line. I've just realised that's the bottom of the ring there. That's the line I meant to take, not that inside part. So I'm just going to get rid of that as well. And then this is the start of the shadow, so it's probably a good idea at this point. Jock. Just gave him the face. It's a little involuntary hand twitch there. I was getting my dog into trouble. Yeah, so using this 8B. Again, just to remind myself that that dark shadow's there. And then the same, the darkest parts here where the contact with the surface is. And then we can pull that out to there. What I'm also going to do as well is when I'm finished today, I'm going to put a sheet of tracing paper here to stop transfer onto this side, because this is going to get pretty messy. I think that just the very fact that I've done this already, I've not really done anything with this drawing yet. I don't think this is a sketchbook that I would use repeatedly, the paper's just a bit too textured. Obviously, if you're only using it for painting in watercolour, which is its purpose, then fine. I feel like this is a little bit too textured. In my mind, I'm comparing it to the sea white equivalent, the watercolour journals that I stock in the stash shop. The paper's just not quite as textured, and I find that they take graphite better. So I'm heavily leaning towards using the sea white journals as my regular sketchbook, but I really wanted to try one of these out because everyone says the paper's great for painting, and my experience, I did a bit of gouache in it. I'm sure I showed you this last time. It took gouache like an absolute champ, which is great for me because that's kind of what I like to paint in. But I'm already finding that this paper probably isn't suited for especially detailed graphite drawings. As long as they don't start reconstructing the film The Birds. Jan, are you not supposed to be at work? What are you doing? I'm really glad you're here though. Oh, goodness me. That's funny. Okay, so what time are we on? Oh god, it's 10 to 4 already. Where is my day going? Yeah, right, so I want to start working on this section here. This is just a tiny bit at a time. The other good thing about this is I can zoom right in. So I want to start to create this edge, you know, where this curve is, and that's just looking at a tiny bit at a time. So there's a little bit of a line which follows the line that I've drawn, but it's a lot more undefined than an actual line. So we get a little bit of squiggly motion on there. And then that comes down. And then we've got this section here. So I'm using a really light hand here, and this is just with the 2B. And I want to start to define that area of light there as well. Trying really hard not to sniff, guys. So this comes, I'm just looking at the reference image here. That comes not quite halfway down. So this is too high up. So let's take that line out. Ta-da. So maybe to like here. And then we've got this dirty great big pit that I was talking about. Like that's, I don't know what happened there. So that's somewhere around here. So again, I'll maybe just pop that in roughly for reference. See, this is quite defined around here as well, and then there's this darker area that comes. And that's one of the things I find about doing stuff like this in graphite. It kind of looks a bit like a patchwork quilt up until you're about 85% done. You're looking at it thinking, that doesn't look like anything. Like it just looks like a collection of like graphite blobs. Very much a trust the process moment. It does look very disjointed, and then once you kind of get to that last sort of 10 or 15%, all of a sudden you're like, oh, it looks like an object again, which is nice. So there's a much more gradual shading here. It's very gradual indeed. So again, just that sort of light source, and then a wee bit of a gradient, and we all know that Gem loves a gradient. I would be very tempted to blend that out with a blending stump as well. If I go back to my 2B here, I've got this little shard of, like it's just this little, oh, next to the pitted part. So that's essentially this section here. So we want to try and start to shape that a little bit as well. I find that easier to do with the 2B and build it up, just like we were talking about before. Oh, there we go. And then we've got that really dark bottom edge. And again, that's just like the curvature of the bottom part. The same way as had the curvature at the top, we've got it at the bottom as well. There's no flat edges on that ring. So we need to make sure that that's quite gradual coming up as well. And that gets thicker as we go along, as it turns away from that light source. So again, that's just something to pay attention to as we go along. This is where this wee weenie eraser that I was looking for earlier, well, that I've been looking for about 4 days. This is where we need it. And we will start to shape that so that it's showing the actual shape of the ring as well. And again, that shadow part, if we're looking specifically at that shadow, you can see the sharpest part of it stops here. So again, going back to our stamp, that's kind of in line with the bottom of the stamp. So I know how far I need to bring this across. So like there. So again, I can go back and I can go with the 8B because this is the darkest part. So that, and just putting in that one line there, it automatically separates the bottom of the ring from this cast shadow area, and you can see quite clearly what we're trying to achieve with that there. So that gives us just a bit of definition. And I mean, we've not really done anything yet. I've like slapped down some graphite. I've not actually done any hard work here yet. So I'm just going to switch to the 5B as I move over here, because you can see this is much softer. But we need this, and we need it to sort of join up with that darker area there. And then that turns into the lighter area too. But again, there's almost like a defined line there, so yeah. And then I can grab this 8B and really define the bottom. And that's my F pencil. I was like, why is that not doing anything? It's because it's the F pencil. Yeah, so that's like super dark in there, but that is the cast shadow. It's not the curvature of the ring. That is what's bouncing off the table. And then that starts to pull away from the actual ring there when the ring starts to do its wonky thing. So perfect for showing the wonkiness. And the thing I find with these cast shadows, you can play about with them a wee bit. Like, they don't have to be absolutely perfect. You know, you can mess about with them a bit and make them a wee bit more dramatic. Loving that already. That's making me quite happy, not gonna lie. I feel like that needs to come around a little bit more though. Yeah. So that's given us like a really defined starting point in terms of working around the rest of the drawing, and it's just helped to start to sharpen that outline up a little bit, which I love. So I feel like yes, progress, a little bit of progress. As for this side, a little bit more careful here. That kind of goes down in a little triangle shape, doesn't it? Yeah. It's a bit harsh. So, but again, back to the 5B. Try not to put my hand in this. Just kind of like work my way out a little bit. And then bring that, it's quite a curve there. Nice. And then it gets really sort of delicate and wishy-washy. Ooh, check out our shadow. Isn't that lovely? You can see as well there's the little bit of bounce light in there, which is really nice. I've not decided how or if I'm going to tackle the actual surface. Haven't given that any thought. But that in itself is much, much better, much happier. Oh, Patty's away. Bye-bye, Patty. Purple, it was lovely to see you. I'm glad you got to see a little bit of a stream. I know it's not been much and you've got stuff to do, but we'll see you again soon. I'll get a weekend stream going and hopefully you can join us again. Everybody's like, wavy, wavy. Popping off. Team meeting. Enjoy your meal with your family as well. Purple, that sounds like fun. I like that idea. It's good. That's me. I'm starting to clog up. The airways are starting to block up. I think this is probably a good point for me to take a wee break as well. I kind of wanted to get more done than this, but back to what we were talking about before, like this is such a slow process, but this is in a much better place than it was an hour ago, not even an hour ago. So I will take it, and I hope that the chat on the proportions thing's been moderately useful to some of you as well. So when we come back, I don't know what's going on here. We're dropping frames. We're dropping frames. Oh, there we go. We're back. I don't know if I've got any of you, all of you. I hope you're all still here. The hillbilly internet just dropped off there. Yes, so I was just saying that I'm going to do some brainstorming when we come back. I'll explain why. Yes, sorry about that, out with my control. I'm going to go and get some Albus oil. Please feel free to talk about food, meals, all the rest of it. Not even slightly jealous, I've got zero appetite. I can't taste anything. So feel free. Ulrika, I expect miracles from you in terms of food. I want to hear about whatever you're having for dinner when I come back. And I'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes. Figuring out whether you're having breakfast or lunch, that's a great dilemma to have. I would just like to say I agree, you don't need to be standing, Ulrika, so whatever you're deciding on, don't do the faff, you don't need it. You're not up for the standing, nah, you don't need it, go for the schnitzel. I'm always really into this just because, as most of you know, when I'm streaming, I don't really want to go and stand in the kitchen and cook, especially just now, like my elbow's still not right. So it's not my favourite thing to do. We're not having pizza tonight though, we're going to have fish and chips tonight, which we haven't had for such a long time. And I've got some nice, they're oven chips or fries if you're not in the UK. They're triple cooked McCain doofy bobs. We've had them before, but you do them in a roasting tray. They're like done in like duck fat or goose fat. So they're quite extravagant as far as oven chips go. But I've been saying for ages that I wanted to have fish and chips because it's something I've not had for a long time. And as I say, I've not really, like, I've been picking at things, I've not been eating proper meals. So going to do that tonight. Have some vegetables, but it's just quick bung in the oven, you know, boil some veg on the stove, it'll be fine. But I'm really, really looking forward to it because I'm just starting to get like my sense of taste back. Like I can just taste the Jack Daniels and no more, like it's there's a hint of it. So I'm moderately excited about eating tonight, which I really haven't been for a number of days now. So yeah, pancakes. Oh, pancakes, yes. Yes to pancakes. What I really want to do is I really want to bake a loaf of bread. I haven't made bread for over a week now either, but I want to be able to smell the bread when it's baking, because that's basically the reason that I make it. I don't eat the bread. Mr. Jem eats the bread. I do not really eat the bread, but I love the smell of it and I love the way it makes my kitchen smell. So I'll be looking forward to that very, very much. Very, very much. Someone was asking me, I don't know whether it was in the Discord or not, someone was asking me about how things have been going since dry January. I had my first alcoholic beverage, not the weekend there because I was sick, the weekend before. Mr. Jem and I went out for some food. I was driving though, but I had a beer with my meal, and that's the first alcoholic drink I've had in 2026. And it was very enjoyable. I liked it a lot. I'm not staying teetotal. Obviously, I'm having Jack Daniels today, although it's for medicinal purposes. But I've not really got any inclination to drink more regularly like I did before, which is well, it's a good thing for my health and my bank balance, that's for sure. But the alcoholic beverages that I am having, I'm enjoying, especially today because, well, yeah, why not? So I can't remember who. I don't even think they're in the stream. I can't remember who it was that had asked. But yeah, I've not really I've not gone back to like my usual drinking schedule at all, which I suppose is a good thing in a way. I just felt that I got to a point where I was like, it wasn't even intentional, but I realised that I was drinking quite a lot, and it wasn't because I was drinking a lot. It was I was drinking frequently, and what was maybe 1 or 2 nights a week was turning into like 3 nights a week. Not good for your waistline either. Yeah, but very much enjoying what I'm having. But my beer that I had with my food was really, really good. Like really, really enjoyed it. That was very nice indeed. We had some very nice food when we were out as well. I'm not really one for when we go out to eat, I tend to have things that I wouldn't cook myself. Which weirdly for us is things like burgers, and it's a standing joke with my friends that when we go out, someone's like, oh, Jem's gonna have a burger, because we just don't eat burgers at home, like we just don't do it. But I very rarely have vegetarian dishes when I'm out, or vegan dishes. But when we were out, they had cauliflower buffalo wings instead of chicken wings, and I just really fancied it, and they were absolutely fantastic, and I would 100% have those again. It's surprisingly filling as well, obviously, because it's cauliflower. They were really, really good, really tasty as well. So that was, like, I'm quite adventurous with food, although, like, you know the burger jokes there. If there's something slightly exotic on a menu or something out of the ordinary, if anyone's going to try it, it's going to be me. And I really, really enjoyed that, so I would 100% have that again, but just not at home. Right, okay, so let's talk about where we're going now, and we've gone over to the other page of the sketchbook. Just want to grab my pencil for this. So the situation is, I talked earlier about all the filming that's going to be going on and editing and things like. I've got like parts of lots of videos going on. I need to have 2 pieces to art. Again, I don't want to tell you the medium because I don't want it to influence your suggestions. But basically there's 2 videos where I would like to create an artwork. So I need some suggestions for subject matter. What I will tell you is that one of the mediums I am very familiar with, and one of the mediums is one that I don't use very often. So, has anybody got anything they would like to see me paint or draw or sketch or whatever? Or does anybody have a slightly off-the-wall suggestion that they would like to see in a video in the next 2 weeks? Jan's boss always has lasagna when he goes out. That's funny. The lasagna is a bit of a sticking point for me, obviously, being of Italian heritage. Had this conversation with a family, an in-law family member not that long ago, about offering me Italian food. I'm like, please don't do it. please don't do it. No disrespect, but please don't do it. We just don't do that. Birds on the feeder. Oh, I like that, Jan. So, right, the thing about the feeders, we have two different types of feeders. We've got the ones that hang, I'm going to move this light because we're casting a lot of shadow there. I put that there. Ah, that's better. We have two types of feeders. So the ones that hang in the trees are like a bird cage, and it's to stop the crows and things getting in. So you've got your normal bird feeder shape, you know, and everything goes in there. But there is a cage round the outside that looks something like that. It looks a bit like a lantern, I suppose. And this is obviously gridded so that the big birds can't get their beaks in. I just realised we're still got the autofocus here. Let's put that in manual. So the little birds can squeeze in through these gaps, but the big birds can't get in. The feeder that's at the window looks like a little house. So it's got a little roof on it to try and keep the feed dry. And then you've got the tray at the bottom. And then there's a wee perch. And then obviously was little birdies sit on the perch, and then they peck down the way. Maybe we should just have, oh, maybe we could just do a bird. Like, what about Mr. Chaffinch? Because he's got some nice colours in him, because he's got a lovely red chest. He's quite fat. Mr. Chaffinch in particular, he's quite a podgy little bird. And he sits in the feeder. See, instead of sitting on this perch part, he sits down in the feed like he's having a bath, and he just like hunkers down. So maybe we could just do Mr. Chaffinch. I quite like that idea. Mrs. Chaffinch as well. I've talked about her before, and I know it's her. Our colours are so delicate, and again, most of you will know that usually the female of the bird species and the bird breeds, they tend not to be the more colourful ones. And Mrs. Chaffinch has got like a yellow belly and chest, but it is so delicate, and it blends into her brown feathers like so perfectly. Like, she's so delicate and soft and fluffy. But the reason that I know that it's her is on her little feet, the back claw. So I kind of talk about it as like their thumb claw that they used to grip if they were holding on to a perch. It's that back one. Hers is missing. Like, it's just not there at all. It doesn't seem to cause her any problems, but that's how I identify her in amongst, because there's a couple of chaffinches. She would be lovely to try and do in a specific medium, but it's not one of the mediums that I need for the videos. So cryptic. So cryptic. An abstract landscape. Oh, Thea. Jeez, oh. Oh, sorry, because saying a robin or a chaffinch. Well, we've done a robin before, so I think maybe Mr. Chaffinch might be the way forward. A bird on a springtime tree. Oh, are you feeling springy, Ulrika? A chaffinch with a collie. Oh, that may be a good idea too. An elephant in a Roman swimming pool in space. Well. Now, that's a full Roman baths with elephants. Oh. Ulrika says, I am, my eyes are itching and everything. Well, if it's warm with you today as well, say warm, like 15 degrees is like t-shirt weather for Scotland, so I'm like, that's warm. Your eyes are itching, so you're already there. I kind of like the Roman baths idea. Oh, yeah, so like pillars. And some nice aqua-coloured water. I think we could shoehorn an elephant into a Roman baths. I quite like that. Like big elephant, maybe spouting some water about for fun. I like that because you can frame the image. Roman baths, very ornate bits and pieces. Cornicing. Jan's the person to ask about Roman stuff. If you do snooze idea, we need a sticker. Your Japanese seed is pumping out loads of pollen. Yay! That sounds like fun. I kind of like the elephant in the Roman baths. There's a bit of a proportions and scale conversation to be had there for sure. But yeah, I like the idea of Roman bath. Let me look up some Roman baths images. Because you could really get, oh yeah, because lots of shading and texture. Like it. Yeah, okay. So this is just like the first thing that I've come along. So the open top, this is exactly water colour I was thinking of. Pillars, little bit of a balcony there. Yeah, I like that idea. I really, really, really like it. Look up Pompeii. Pom pre-eruption, I assume, Jan. Oh, I like it, Jan. Essential, well-preserved public, social and hygiene hubs. I thought that said hygiene tubs. I'm like, hygiene bathtubs, okay. But yeah, this one's like covered in. Oh, kind of like that. I feel like shoehorning an elephant in there might be a problem though. That's the thermal baths. Yeah, the first one was bath, as in the place. Yeah, no, but this is Pompeii here. No, I was just like Roman baths in general for the first one. There's loads. Ew. So would bath have been at the time, but the image you found would be super, super. I'm waiting for the rest of this conversation. Oh, the image you found would have been super, not super something. Yes, okay. Yeah, well, it's really just for ideas and what we could do. Okay, so I definitely think Mr. Chaffinch specifically would be a good shout for one image. Getting him sitting down in the feeder, because when he does that, he like floofs himself out and he looks even fatter than he actually is. I think that's a wonderful idea because we all like fat birds. That was the other thing I talked about in the last stream was the gentleman on Instagram who specifically likes to draw fat birds. And I found him and then I forgot about it. It's absolutely hilarious though, and it's like one of my favourite things ever. So his name is, hang on a little second. His name is Landon Fraker, and his Instagram handle is Landon Fraker Art. So this is him here. And his latest post is taking a beautiful rare bird and making it fat as hell. So if you're into the chubby birds, check out Landon Fraker because I for one was very very tickled by his art, and it makes me really happy because I like chubby animals. Yeah, it's news, right? So two very different ideas. So Chaffinch and Roman baths with or without an elephant. I think the Roman baths on its own. Oh, there you go. Thea's put the link to Mr. Fraker's Instagram in the chat if you want to go and check out his fat birds. I think this is a really good idea. One of the things that I like specifically is the colours on the Chaffinch's chest and belly. Excuse me. Thought there was a sneeze going on there. Ulrika's, oh wow, chubby birds. Love the chubby birds. Yes, is that nice sort of like burnt orangey colour, and it stands out so nicely against the other feathers as well. So I'm now starting to think about the medium that I was talking about. Well, it's two, and I now need to decide which one goes with which idea, which is interesting. I don't want to give it away because that would maybe spoil it for those of you that want to watch the videos. The other thing that I've got, one of the many videos that's floating about, I did get my scroller box yesterday, it came in the mail yesterday. So obviously I'm not planning anything for that on account of I don't know what's in the box, and we get the prompt as well. So I'll kind of like worry about that when it appears, and you know but that's like last in the filming queue. So let me just grab, I've got a set of pencils here that's kind of like buried like 6 feet deep in lots of other stuff. But I want to look at, oh, pencils, I'm sorry. Oh, this is going to be a disaster. Oh, try not to knock over a mountain of stuff. Yes, so let's talk chaffinch colours. I've got my polychromos here. I've seen quite a few posts. I don't know if any of the rest of you have seen them as well. I've seen quite a few posts about the new polychromos colours that are coming out. I contacted West Design, which is the wholesale company that I buy the polychromos pencils from. There isn't any sort of like set dates. They're saying basically they're going to be available sometime between March and September. I'm like, well, that's vague. The colours look lovely though as well. I'm sure you'll have seen some posts online with some swatches and things. If you've been anywhere near Instagram, I'm sure you've seen them. I'm quite excited. I'm not excited about how much they're going to cost. They are bringing out this set of just the new pencils. You can buy them as a tin, but they're also selling the full set of polychromos, which will now be up to 140 pencils as well. Really looking forward to them, but slightly scared about how much we're going to have to pay for them. Nice thought about doing a peacock with Julia Kay's paints. I think that would be lovely. I think that would be real nice. Right, okay, so chaffinchy type colours. So I want to find that nice sort of set of reddish colours, because they've kind of, the males have got it round their cheeks a wee bit as well, some of them. But also like, I suppose we should just put up pictures. They've got like a bluish grey colour, like a slate blue colour on them as well. So that's kind of the colours that I want to think about. So I'm kind of in the mind of like halfway between orange and like terracotta-y-ness. So let's just get the kind of orangey brown pencils out here, because there's probably going to be a combination of them. Not specifically to use in pencil, but just to kind of like identify the types of colours. So I would say that that is too orange, and I think that's the orange glaze pencil if I remember correctly. No, sorry, I beg your pardon, that is a dark cadmium orange. I feel like that's too orangey. So I've got terracotta, and that's maybe a bit too brown. The wind's picking up all of a sudden. I wish the Scottish weather would just go away just now. Sanguine, and now that's too brown. Okay, so definitely leaning more towards this type of colour. Jan is off to drive home. I'll be listening sometime the next 10 minutes. So catch you later, chums. Mix green in to dull it down. Well, I think I would like to get a bit closer first, Thea. I just feel like I'm too far away to tweak it, if you know what I mean. What I probably would do is, let's see the orange glaze. I would probably take that and then grab the terracotta colour. And layer those up. Yeah, I feel like that's somewhere a bit closer to what I'm looking for. Again, I'm not too worried about this, because I'm not, newsflash, it's not pencil that I'm going to be working in. Yeah, I feel like this is a bit closer to what I would want. Maybe with, because there's some areas where the colour's a lot more obvious than others. So maybe that would be a bit brighter, like round the neck ring and the cheeks in particular might be a bit more that kind of colour. In terms of the sort of bluish grey side of things, I feel, I see I'm probably in the wrong spot with the polychromos here, but we'll figure it out. It's just to give me a visual. Oh, that's quite close to what I'll be looking for actually. So that is the Cold Grey 3. I was going to say Cold Grey 4 there. I was one step out. That's pretty close. And obviously if you step down then I've got Cold Grey 4 here as well. That would be, that's fairly close to what I would be after as well for our chaffinch. Their wings are quite complicated as well because there's brown in there, and I feel that that would be closer to this like this terracotta colour. Maybe a touch darker actually, but that's definitely like in the wheelhouse of where I would want to be for that. I would maybe pop, thinking about darker, maybe Van Dyke brown. I'm just trying to think of this in terms of polychromos to like eyeball where I need to be. Yeah, that would be quite close as well, this sort of spread of colours. And then there's the back part of their wings, so the part that pokes out like here. This is very dark. It's not black, but it's almost black. So again, you could start with something near that Van Dyke brown, and maybe use something like a I want to say like a dark sepia. Yeah, so not black, but close to black. So that would be quite a good colour grouping. There's white parts as well, but I would stick to the white of the paper for that. My nose is actually starting to run now. My goodness, I'm sorry guys, hang on. Respiratory system. Hi Mary, how you doing? Yeah, so I think I'm fairly well there. So I'll use this to eyeball when I actually go to do the artworks that we've mentioned. In terms of Roman baths, having a look at the architecture of what we've seen, we're going to be using sort of yellowish, beigey colours. So maybe lots of kind of cream biscuit colours, maybe some raw umber. Loving having all the pencils out. This is fun. Or maybe like ochre colour. Yeah. Like those kind of colours for the actual like structural work. So it would be really nice to, I suppose it depends if it's like a ruin or whether it's, I think I would like to do it in like all its glory, you know, like pillars that are, you know, intact and we can see all the ornateness of them. Maybe, I don't know, lots of thinking to do here. Maybe a little sunlight bouncing on them so that they've got that nice kind of golden glow on them, you know, make it kind of serene. But what would be really nice to balance that out is like a turquoisey or like a greenish blue colour. So maybe something like that. What was that? So that's the cobalt, yeah. Or maybe if you wanted to go a bit blue eater rather than green eater, then you could do that as well. But I feel that would be quite nice because again, if it's open topped, like Bath, not the Bath, Bath the place, you would have a light source coming in from the top, so you could have some reflections off the water. So like if you had pillars that went down into the water, which might be fun, they would be dark around there, and then you could use this lighter colour, but you could have the light bouncing off. You know, you could do something with texture and interest on the water there. And then what you would be able to do is use something like indigo, which we all know is one of my favourite blues to use, and this bit that's tucked underneath, this could be really like dark and shadowy in here, so you'd have loads of contrast for your ornate cornicings and pillars that you've got, and you've got these fancy bits here. Because that would be in shadow, so you would have loads of contrast, and purely from a compositional point of view, that would probably look really, really good, regardless of what medium you wanted to do it in. So I don't think this is a bad idea at all. I'm kind of taken with the elephant idea now that now that I've got these two colours out as well. I'm like, that looks like elephant colours to me. Maybe that just deserves to be a separate image all on its own. Although I did have a thought as well. This was a brain fart about a week and a half ago. I have got lots of scratchboards sitting there, and I think an elephant is something I would love to do in scratchboard because their skin's really, really textured. I think that might be a very ambitious undertaking for me, given that my scratchboard skills are not particularly developed, but I think that's something I might like to do, especially after we're talking about tattoo needles that in the last stream. Driving, so be good, I can hear you. Right, let's start slinging insults at Jan, she can hear us. Snoo says you could add gold to the pillars too. Yes, I could. We'd make them super swanky. Glad but surprised the chat talked Gem into an architectural drawing. I think that's probably about as close to architectural as you're going to get from me. Hey Hat, how are you doing? It's so nice to see you. See, having you and having Roseanne in the chat, it's so lovely because we don't see you guys very often, and Nye as well. Like, because we're here on a random Tuesday instead of a Wednesday or a weekend, like, it's nice to have everyone here. And Jan's in the car, so we can hurl insults at her, and she can't retaliate in the chat. So if you want to insult Jan Green Hat, let me know. Just pop it in the chat and I'll tell her. Jan, we love you, really, we do. Very much. And when you weren't here at the start of the stream, that was one of the things everyone asked. It's like, where's Jan? So you were obviously missed. Okay, this is quite productive. I like this. I like this a lot. What do you think about the elephant scratchboard situation? See, this is why I like doing this as well, because we end up coming up with other stuff that wasn't even in the, on the agenda. Considering I'm sick, this is very productive. Green Hat says, Jan, you're a poo head. Or just say something completely wrong about Roman baths so she has to correct us. 3 o'clock, Green Hat. If I'm streaming during the week especially, I tend to start at 3, usually 3 till 5. The other thing as well is that Mr. Jem's got an evening meeting, so I need to be finished because I've got stuff to do before he... really. Hey Jan, I hope you're still listening. Thea's just posted in the chat and she said, Romans never had bathhouses and no public toilets either. It's all lies. So there. Poohead is what we use with the step goblin, family friendly insult. It's quite interesting. There's obviously regional differences. The one we use with the small nibblings is jobby bum. A jobby in Scottish is a poop. That is our word for a shit. So yeah, jobby bum is our friendly insult for small ears. The bathhouses were definitely put in as a fake archaeology. Oh, we can. Oh, we need to be careful. We don't want her to tie our car around a tree or a lamp post. Jobby bum is brilliant. Jobby, Y at the end, Green Hat, not IE. Well, I suppose you can spell it IE if you want. Jobby with a Y. Sorry, guys. I'm glad you're having a good time, April. Another really good Scottish insult. If Purple was still here, I'm sure she'd back me up, and I'm sure Susan will back me up if she's still here as well. One of the best family-friendly insults you can give someone if they're Scottish and if you're Scottish is to call them a walloper. Look it up. Walloper, a walloper. It's a really good insult without using sweary words or being particularly vicious. Oh, Thea, you're getting into this. Thea's like, oh, also, Jan, those Roman hats for pencils, they're so stupid. I would never. You guys are hilarious. Oh, I freaking love doing these streams. You know you have an interesting culture when you need child-friendly insults. Yes, 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 we do. Yeah, Jobby Bum and Walloper. That's where we're at today. It's all good. Another one that I use personally, which isn't a Scottish thing, is I will call someone a ding dong. Now I know in the US that is an unhealthy sweet treat, maybe not a delicacy. But yeah, I call someone a ding dong if it's in front of small children, because really what I want to call them is a knobhead. But that again is in reference to male genitalia here, so we don't want to use that in front of. I mean, I'd use that in front of my older nibblings, but not the small nibblings. My brother's kids are a bit older now. The oldest one's an adult, which is fine. But even the younger ones are older now, so it's not too bad. But I'm very aware of, like, especially as someone who doesn't have children and I'm not around children on a daily basis, but I am very aware of my potty mouth when I'm in company of small people. And I don't like other adults using adult language around kids. Like, obviously not a parent, so I can't say, but I just think that there's appropriate terms that can be used. Like, you can still sling insults. I mean, that as British people, like, I'm talking about the whole of the UK, we're very good at slagging people off, but we do it like it's out of tenderness. Like, we're not nasty people, but insulting your friends is like a term of endearment, but there is age appropriate phrases that you can use. And I feel very strongly about that. I don't like people swearing in front of children. Like, there's no need for it. They'll learn plenty of that when they go to school, especially when they're teenagers. You know what teenagers are like. But I don't think kids should have a potty mouth because they've heard it from the people that are supposed to protect them, look after them, and help them navigate their way through the world. And that's just the way that I feel. April's nibblings are all in their 20s and early 30s. Well, our youngest one is a year and our oldest one just turned 30. So we have a broad age range. Thea tries not to curse around children. It takes a lot out, even though I do curse a lot. But see, I think as well that when you're used to being in an adult environment, which obviously I am, it's just me and Mr. Jem, and sometimes, like, Papa Jem. Like, we do a lot of sweary, and especially being farmers as well, and Scottish. Like, Scottish people swear a lot. Like, we do swear a lot, and I would wager that we're probably one of the best swearing nations around. And we have a lot of words for things, but I just feel like there's a time and place for stuff. And but I find it quite easy to regulate myself around small people. And as I say, I don't like other people doing it as well. My brother's quite sweary, and I'm always giving him into trouble, even though like his kids are older. I'm like, don't say that in front of them, and he's like, they're teenagers, what? Like, shut up. And I'm like, no. And he's like, do you not think they use it themselves and they hear it at school? And I'm like, that's not the point. Hat's got a bad potty mouth. Goblins know what they can and can't say. Small one has picked up my road rage though. April's youngest is 22 and the oldest is 30, and you're 47. Well, this is the thing, because Mr. Jem's he's one of 6, and they're like quite a big age range. So our oldest nephews are his oldest sister's kids, and say the oldest one's 30. Now, bearing in mind I'm about to turn 42, It's interesting, but it's funny because the two oldest boys, they do it on purpose, but they come up to me and they call me Auntie Jem. Now I met those boys when they were like awkward tween teenagers, and the fact that these full-grown men at like nearly 30 who tower over me, like they bend down and pat me on the back and they'll like hug me and they're like, "Oh, Auntie Jem," and I'm like, "Oh, stop it, you weirdo." It's quite funny though, I like it. People are poo heads, move out of the way. Oh, that hat, that's perfect. There you go. But feel free to teach them about jobby bums. You can tell them that Auntie Jem said it's okay to use jobby bum because all of their friends won't know what they're talking about. I love the great range of topics that we cover in these streams as well. You know, we've gone from very technical ways to correct your proportions in a graphite drawing to alternative words for human waste. Culture, all the culture. Yes, you can, yes, teach them jobby bums. I like that. It's very good, very good. Right. Okay. Right, I've only got 15 minutes left. I don't really want to start on anything else. This has been really helpful though. And I really enjoy it when you guys like throw suggestions at me and I'm able to turn it into something. And I'm very solid on the fact that we're going to go chaffinch and Roman baths. Can't promise the elephant in the Roman baths. I think it might kind of take away from the idea a little bit. But I can guarantee in the videos that are coming up, I'm going to use these two suggestions. So now, probably towards the end of the week, what I'll do is I'll do some chaffinch sketches. I did do a little bit on bird anatomy way back. That was a couple of years ago now. That was at the old cave. Thea, I don't know if you can maybe find that video. It might have been Cave Moose. But I did a bird study because birds' legs are complicated. But I will refer back to my original sketchbook for that. That was like 2 sketchbooks ago. And I'll do some chaffinchy type sketches just to kind of familiarise myself with. Again, birds aren't something I draw very often. I might go and look up Landon Fraker's page and get some inspiration for some really floofy fat birds because that's probably where it's going to go in preparation for filming the second half of the video that I need that for. Oh, look, go Thea, look at that. Like, she's light. Can you see why I love having Thea as my helper, guys? Like, that's ridiculous. A chaffinch in the bath it is. Extra one to go with the pig. Well, to be fair, like, a chaffinch in a bath, like an actual bath, you know, the old-fashioned enamel baths with the feet like the standalone baths, I think that would make a great sticker. Just saying. You just search for bird in your videos. It's the fact that you pulled up the Cave YouTube page, typed that in the search bar, found the correct video and got the link for it all in the space of about 3.5 seconds. That is efficiency, my dear. She is on the ball, Ulrika, isn't she? She very much is. Very, very much. Very, very much. Yeah, so I think I'll probably do another sketch as well, just on composition and maybe work out some features that I would like for my Roman bath. I'm really into these colours, Lola. This little palette here is really speaking to me, and I know that I can utilise that for one of the videos. So that's made me moderately excited. And given that my energy levels are like that just now, like 0, this is really good, and this is why I knew it would be a good idea to do the stream today, even though I'm not feeling great. I've had a lot on today. Like, I've had a busy day today. Tomorrow's going to be bonkers, and I'm still not sleeping. I'm kind of used to not getting a full night's sleep, but obviously with added congestion it's made it so much worse. I really should be dead on my feet. And I realised that even with a trowel load of makeup on, I'm very, very pale. I'm still not well. But this is why we do these things, because we've got some great ideas. I'm excited about a colour palette. Fixed my proportions, well on the way with that. Like, this has been a productive stream. That's not bad for a Tuesday afternoon in February, guys. Like, super excited about that. Super, super good. So thank you once again for your audience participation. I think I am going to stop here though. My throat's starting to get really dry, which you know happens to me at the best of times when I do these streams. I would rather stop while I'm still like upright. I'm probably going to go and get myself not a Lemsip, but a medicated hot flu drink that's not Lemsip, because all I can taste is paracetamol, those ones. I'm probably going to go and do that just now. So there will be a video activity. It'll probably be near the weekend. The other thing to note as well is I'm going to take a bit of a breather for myself. It is my birthday next week. I've taken a few days off from my proper job, and I'm basically going to sit in my pyjamas on the couch and play computer games and just have a little bit of time to myself. I am not compromising that to try and get everything caught up. Like that's solid. If I'm taking time off work, you're damn sure I'm going to enjoy it. But there will be plenty of activity outside of that. So say in the next few days I will post up the live stream schedule for March as well, so that you know what's going on. I would like a bit more variety in the days and times of the streams, and things are a bit freer in March for me to do that. So we'll get plenty of variety so that people that have work and commitments and kids and stuff can get in and maybe come and join us. But there's going to be more where this came from. Oh, look at all the pink underhands already. Oh, thank you for your assistance, Thea. Yeah, I'm definitely I'm like 80% of the way there. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm not far off it. We'll get there. It'll be all right. Be fine. Nobody's going to die and nobody's going to lose a limb. It'll be okay. I'm more concerned about going to the hospital tomorrow and them telling me what's happening with my elbow, or not happening as the case may be. The video is from 2020. I knew it was in the old cave, and we moved in there in January of 2020, so I'm not surprised by that at all. I knew it was at least a couple of years. I didn't realise it was like 6 years ago though. My God. Time flies, no pun intended, when you're having fun. Right guys, I'll leave that with you. Thanks very much for your input. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Bye Jan, if you're still driving, drive safe, get home safe, and I'll see you all back in the cave really soon for another stream or a video with some elephants or chaffinches or something. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday everyone. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.